Yeah, hello, how are you?
Thanks.
Very well, good. Okay, welcome to, this afternoon session, which as you can see is about academic English describing trends. Doesn't matter what subject you're going to study in the university, you will have to describe data, and perhaps if you've done IELTS you might be familiar with this. So we're just going to go through some basic language that we can use in this process. And to get you thinking about that, we've got some products. Now, can you tell me what that is?
iPhone 4.
Very good. It's an iPhone. It's an iPhone 4. Well, what's the general name?
Electronic device.
Well, for this kind, yes, very good. Smartphone is what we're looking for. Because you're right, it is an iPhone, but also a Galaxy. You know, is a phone, and therefore they are called smartphones. All right. Very good. Here we have something else.
Xbox.
Very good. Okay, it's a gaming console. We can call this one an Xbox. You can see it's got the X on it here. All right. Let's take a look at another one.
Laptop.
Netbook.
Ah, very good. Yes, this is a netbook. It's like a laptop. Do you remember netbooks?
Yeah.
Yeah, they used to be popular until about 2 or 3 years ago. Then they've been replaced by other things. So we've got a netbook here as well. And one more product is this. Very good, yeah. An MP3 player. Okay, so we've got 4 pieces of technology that we might use or might have used in the past. Now, thinking about these 4, you can see here we've got 8 line charts. Now, what I'd like you to do just together, just to discuss, is thinking about the products, such as, say, the smartphone, which one, and it's only one I'd like to think of, which one of these do you think most reflects sales of that product? You can see some of them are down, some of them are up. You can see other differences between them, but there are 8 of them. You only need to match up 4. Okay, so just choose one for each product and just try that together. You don't need to write anything. And you might say, okay, I think, for example, I think that C is the smartphone because the sales are going up but not very fast, for example. So try to give a reason as well. And I'll just come and listen to you, okay?
Yes. H or E.
Okay. Okay then, now. Has everybody got a decision about the 4 products? So, okay, think about the smartphone. Which of these did you think was most
I think
accurate?
F.
You think
Yes.
F?
Because the smartphones now are replacing all of the devices. It has camera, you can check your email, you can use as a just surfing the internet, you can watch movie, everything. So before it was just mobile phone, just to telephone to talk to other people. But now is becoming has been upgraded, and there is a lot of functions, apps you can use. You can play games, even just talk, chatting with friends.
Yeah.
So all of these devices can be in one device.
Okay, very good. Yeah, and that's a very good reason. Did all of you agree that it was F, or did you think it was something else? You agree? F. All right, very good. Okay. What about the Xbox? Which one of these, if you've now chosen F?
It could be C.
Yeah.
Could be C. Okay, going up a little bit there.
I agree.
And it could be D.
Could be D. So still going up, you know, because that's higher than this. Yeah, sometimes up, sometimes down. Okay. So you're thinking C or D. Any other suggestions? No? Oh, that's fine. Netbooks.
H.
H.
H, do you want to all down there and that?
H or E.
Yeah. H or E. Okay. Very good. Do you own a netbook now?
I have the old one.
You have an old one. You still have it now? Do you still have it now? Yeah. Some people still like them. I mean, some people still say, oh, you know, I still like my netbook.
Actually, I have tablet and I don't use netbook.
But
Just
there.
He's watching movie
All right, this is more like a big movie player now. And finally then, the MP3 player.
It's definitely E.
Definitely E, you think, that one? Okay.
Because you
Don't
have
agree.
You don't agree?
No.
Which one do you think?
I will say C.
You'd say C, so you think they're actually going up?
Maybe slightly.
Slightly. MP3 players, yeah? They're actually going up.
Now.
quite disagree with that because
I think maybe G.
you don't have to buy two devices. For example, if you have smartphone, you can just download the music player, and to listen to the music, I wouldn't buy MP3 player.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point. And in most cases, Jovan will be right. But there are some advantage of using MP3 player. Why not? It's easy, it's light, and it's much more cheaper than
Yes.
iPhone or smartphone.
And
So,
in China, some
if-
students use MP3 player to record the lectures.
Right, okay. But can't you do all of that on
But you
here?
won't put your cell phone
You
on the
know?
desk on the teacher's desk.
Right.
You can put
Okay.
your MP3 there.
Yeah. So, but right, okay. So, but I think generally, so we had the idea of C, and the other ones were, I think you said either E or was it? Which one? Yeah. Okay, well, that's very good, because all we've done now is just activated your ideas about, so we say, this topic, and you're getting to think about, okay, are they going up or going down? Because in a minute I'm going to give you a paper between you together, not one each, I'm going to give one between three. Okay. Now, on this paper, what you'll see is, I want you to focus on the top part only. Just the top part, and you'll see there are 8 sentences here on the top of this paper. Each of these is describing one of these. Okay, so you can see, for example, sales of MP3 players fell steadily, and it's saying that's G. Okay, now look at the other ones. Again, I'm going to give you the paper together, discuss it together, and just try to match them from the description. And I will give you one paper each later, so don't worry. But just for now, to keep you talking, I'd like you to just have one between three. And so remember, just that's how and that's the key thing, yeah. Okay, so it looks like you've all kind of got to a decision. Just to see what we thought they were, or what the answer should have been. That was the example. We had G. Now, the second one here, they increased gradually. Which one did you choose?
C.
C.
Okay, yeah, and you should have had C for that. Number 3 talks about it fluctuating, and then
D.
G.
okay, D. Yeah. Now, key thing here. Notice that this part is higher. So if we to draw a line, just slightly higher. Now, this is a key thing. Notice we don't say goes up and down. We use the verb fluctuated. Okay. What about number 4?
A.
A.
Okay, yeah. Now here we see it much clearer, and we can see definitely. But be careful with this, because as I said, here this is actually still, the trend is still higher. Yeah, even though it perhaps isn't as clear. What about number 5?
B.
B.
Okay, we've got B, because it's slightly. Okay, very good. And then, oh, I told you the next one.
H.
I apologise for that. You knew what it was anyway. That one was H. Yeah. Notice here we've got this thing means leveled off. Leveled off. Okay. Yeah, stable. That's a good way of putting it. Yes. Number 7 here. Yeah. Notice we've got here rose sharply, or in this case climbed sharply. Yeah. Now, I mean, you said it was smartphones. Okay. Here it's saying it's iPads. So that wasn't one of our options. So there's only one left, which must mean that one should be E. Very good. Now, all we've done is we've matched these together. Now, when we look, and you can see on the next part, just this little box here. No, so on the same page. Just on the same page. Just the box underneath. You can see it says upward, downward, or other. Now, when we look at the first verb, fell, we can see that's in the downward. Okay, that's a downward trend. So all you need to do is look at the verbs like increased, fluctuated, decline, and just decide, are they describing something which is upward, downward, or something else. And just try to put them in the box quickly together.
Okay, so it's better than mine. Okay, upwards. I can rise more.
Now, downward, fell.
Oh,
Yeah, be careful there.
Oh, roll. Yeah.
Well, we've got that one there, increased, yeah.
Yeah, declined.
Climbed.
Rose.
Why is there suddenly a T in the middle of increased? I just wondered why you might have decided to put it there.
I put it.
Now, upward here isn't actually a verb. We're just thinking about the verbs. Yeah, only the verbs. Yeah, very good.
Rise, yes, but in the past, okay.
Yeah, now these are all being
Doesn't
put.
matter.
They're all in. Well, it kind of is in one way,
Rise,
but actually, if you spell rise, oh yeah, but they, as it says, fell. You'll see why we put them in the past in a moment. But it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Doesn't matter with rise. Okay, is everybody finished? Everybody happy?
Yeah.
So, the ones you should have had as upward, how many were there? How many verbs? Two, three. Three, yes. You should have had increased, rose, climbed. Is that what you all got? Yeah? And downward? Three again. Four. With the example, four. Let's have a look. Yeah, so you've got fell, declined, dropped, decreased. Okay, very good. And there were two more verbs.
Two.
Yeah, what would they be?
Fluctuated.
Fluctuated.
Level.
Very good, yeah. Fluctuated and leveled off. All right, now. Very good. So these are what you should have had in there. You'll notice that two of them are in red. Why are they in red?
Irregular verbs.
Very good. They are irregular. Remember, irregular just means not regular, or if you like, not normal. So the regular or normal way to make the past simple tense is to do what?
ED.
Add ed, yeah, and you can see all of these have ed on the end, the blue ones. Now, on your paper again, you will notice here that you've got three more boxes. You can see there's one with what looks like a T or a T,
Okay.
one that has a D, and one that has an id. Now, what is that about? Well, that is about the fact when we think about how do we pronounce the ed. So what I'd like you to do is together try saying those words now and try to decide, do you think these are going into the T sound? So for example, do you think we say increased, increased, or increased?
Increased.
Okay, so if it's like that, you might decide that increased would go in here. Okay, so that's all you're trying to do. So just try that together, then we'll check that in a few moments.
Say again.
Okay then, so let's see what we think. So we've got this one now. Let's just practice this one. We can say increased,
Increased.
increased,
Increase.
increased,
Increase.
increased.
Increased.
Okay, so what else would go in the T?
Decreased.
Decreased.
Well, dropped and then decreased, yeah. So again, we've got dropped, dropped, and it's the same as like stopped. Yeah, can we say stopped, not stopped? Yeah, stopped. Okay, and we got decreased as well. And I think somebody said, oh, it's the same spelling, so I think it's the same pronunciation, which, all right. It's not a rule of thumb because you know English spelling and pronunciation don't always do that, but it's a nice way of thinking about it. What about the D sound?
Decline.
Which was for decline. So declined.
Decline.
That's right. Declined.
Yeah. Decline.
Yeah, not declined, but just declined.
Decline.
Another one in the. Well, I've got this one here first. Yeah, they're just going through in the order they were in the text, basically. So, okay, leveled off. Now, one thing here, you'll see for a minute. I'm just putting a little line through here. I'm going to come back to this in a moment, and you'll see that there's a little line linking these together. Because what happens when you have a sound, that's right, we connect the consonant sound to the following vowel sound. So instead of saying leveled off, we say leveled off. And it makes it easier, because if we say a t or a d at the end of these sort of things, it stops what we're saying. If I say leveled off, it stops my speech. So we say leveled off. Leveled off.
Leveled off.
Very good. I'm going to come back to something about that in a moment, that kind of pronunciation. There's one more, I think, in here, is there? You said it already. Very good. Climbed. Yeah. Not climbed, and not climbed, but just climbed. So this is, the B is silent in this. So what about this one?
Fluctuate.
Very good, because here we've got fluctuated. Fluctuated. All right. Now don't forget, I'm going to give you a paper in a moment to make a note of all of these. So, but before we get to that, if we think about linking, I mentioned it's leveled off, if you remember. And if we take an example like this sentence, how would you say this sentence?
I stopped at 8 o'clock.
Right, now then. What we would first of all notice is, in a way, we're going to, again, the same sort of idea, we're going to break it up here and link this bit together. So, stopped at, or we can say, all right, let's say stopped at, stopped at, stopped at.
Stopped at.
Okay, now let's carry on a little bit. Oh dear, we're going to split this one up as well. Stopped at, all right. Stopped. Now here we've got Tate. Tate. Stopped her. Stopped her. Stopped her Tate. Stopped her Tate. Okay. I stopped her Tate. I stopped her Tate. Unfortunately, we can see we've got another vowel here. Oh, great. To clock. To clock. Tay. Ta. Ta-tay to clock. Ta-tay to clock. Stop to tay to clock. I stop to tay to clock. Stop to tay to clock. I stop to tay to clock. Can I hear you say that?
I stopped to 8 o'clock.
Very good. Yes. Can I hear you?
I stopped at 8 o'clock.
I stopped to 8 o'clock.
I stopped at 8 o'clock.
Okay, well, I think we're missing a vowel sound in there somewhere, but can I hear you say that one? Yes.
I stopped at 8 o'clock.
Very good. Yes. Okay. How about you?
I stopped at 8 o'clock.
Okay. Good. Yes. Do you want to try it?
I stopped at 8 o'clock.
Very good. And
I stopped at 8 o'clock.
very good.
I stopped at 8 o'clock.
Good.
I stopped at 8 o'clock.
Okay. Very good. And the last one.
I stopped at 8 o'clock.
I stopped at 8 o'clock.
I stopped at 8 o'clock.
Let's try it all together. I stopped at 8 o'clock.
I
Stopped at 8 o'clock.
I stopped at 8 o'clock.
Stopped at 8 o'clock.
Now, one of the things why it's important, and obviously this is why your teachers in the morning and the afternoon, they're helping you with this, because if you listen to an English teacher in another country, maybe your home country, sometimes they go, oh yes, I stopped at 8 o'clock. Hey, my listening's fantastic. I understand everything. Then you come to England, and people say, I stopped at 8 o'clock. Huh? What? And so one of the key things is, usually, a lot of people come here and say, oh, my listening was good, but now it's terrible. It's not terrible, you're listening for different things. Now here, you're probably thinking about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 words. But if we think about it, we say this part separately, or I, yeah. All of the next part is one continuous piece of speech. Stopped at 8 o'clock. There is no space between that. The word boundary, where one stops and the other, and as you can see, we're linking the end of one to the next, which is why sometimes people have a problem with these ED pronunciations, because although we say leveled, when we put it with something after that, leveled off, yeah, then we connect it. So in many ways, it's very important you remember or focus and listen to your teachers in the morning, because they will be doing this with you to help you understand. A lot of it you already know. Yeah, sometimes, like instead of saying where do you live, where do you live, and the do you becomes ja. Yeah. So the whole thing about this, try to, and one good thing you can do is watch the BBC iPlayer with the English language subtitles, because that can actually help you. There was just something on linking, so I'm trying to. How do you say that again?
Stop taking a clock.
Good. Okay. Now, one last thing at the bottom of this paper, and I'm going to give you this paper together now in a moment. You'll notice that it says adverbs, and it will say slow or fast. Now, adverbs are verbs that come after verbs. They describe the verb, yeah. So the example here we have on our paper is steadily. If we look back at the beginning, it said sales of MP3s fell steadily. So that tells us how the action was done. As I said, I'm now going to give you a paper each so that you can add in the extra adverbs. And remember, notice the adverbs here will be after the verb. And you can also complete the other answers as well while you're looking at that. But I'll give you one each. Again, try it together. I'm just giving you this so that you can check your other answers as well. And here's one for you. And if you finish it, you can put in the other answers there as well. Okay, do you agree with each other?
Yeah.
Very good. So, slow ones, we had steadily. What else did we have?
Gradually.
Gradually and, yeah, slightly. So we've got 3 of these which are slow. Talking about slow change. When it comes to fast, significantly, very good. Sharply and dramatically. Was that in there? Oh, but is it here?
No.
No, well, there you are. You're right. It does mean fast. It does mean fast, yeah. But in this case, if it's not there. Okay, so what have we got? We've got one way of describing a trend, which is great. But we want to show people we understand more about English. Now, some people think, oh, we should use lots of clever tenses. Let's use a future perfect continuous. Why? Well, you don't need to. Using present tenses or past is fine. So if we think about it, we've got here this example, sales of MP3 players fell steadily. We've got a verb followed by an adverb. We can, to show people that we understand about word formation and manipulating the language, change the word class of these words. So rather than using a verb and an adverb, we could use an adjective and a noun. They mean exactly the same, but you can see instead of steadily as an adverb, we've changed it to steady as an adjective. We've introduced the article a because this is a singular countable noun. Instead of fell, which is a verb, we've now changed this to the noun, which is fall. We've also, you might notice, moved in a way the subject, which was at the head here, to the end. So we've changed the structure. We're saying exactly the same. Notice we're using at, and which tends to be fall in something or decrease in something. So that, if you like, is the mechanics, the grammatical change you have to make. What you have to do is quite easy, because I've helped you quite a lot. Because on the back of your paper, you will now see that there are you've got actually what I mentioned here, but you'll see there are 5 sentences, A to E. And if you look at the first sentence, you see it says the development of smartphones increased rapidly during the mid-2000s. We can rewrite that as...
Adjective.
Right, yeah. Okay, here's the example, yeah. There was a rapid increase in the development of smartphones. So again, notice how you're moving the subject here as well. So take a look at it. They're underlined for you. Change the adverbs into adjectives and change the verbs into nouns. Try it together. I'll give you a couple of minutes to do that. So scientifically. Now, I'm sure you all got these correct. Would anybody like to suggest B, the answer you had for B?
Yeah.
What was it? What did you say?
A dramatic decrease in.
Okay, so yeah, a dramatic decrease in. Very good. C?
Sharp drop.
Sharp drop in, remember, yeah. A sharp drop in. D?
Significant
Rise in.
Okay. And we've got significant rising. And the final one, E?
A slow decline in.
Very good, a slow decline in. Now, you've automatically manipulated the language, changed it from using a verb and an adverb to now using an adjective and a noun. So you're showing people you understand differences in word class and also in sentence structure. Which again, when sometimes people say, oh, how do I impress? Or how do I show that my English is better? Well, you don't have to use complicated past perfect, passive tenses. You can actually just do something as simple as this. But, of course, when you write things, you make mistakes. I saw a few spelling mistakes knocking about. And, of course, sometimes there are other errors. And the last part on the page here, you can see there are 5 more sentences. And you can see it says there was a slightly fall in the sales of DVDs. There are 2 mistakes in that sentence.
A slight fall.
Slight
Fall.
fall. Well, I think it's got fall already. Can you spot the other?
Sales.
Yes.
Short.
Yeah. Slight and not sells, but sales. Yeah. So there are 2 errors in each sentence, not 1 but 2. Find each of the errors and just try to. Okay. So it should be sales of cars increased significantly.
But why sales of cars? Sale of cars.
No, sales means the numbers of cars sold. Yeah. It's like sales of anything. It's not a sale, it's sales as in the whole idea of selling a product. So people talk about rising sales or falling sales, means the number of items they sell. What about H? Did you find it there?
There should be an adjective instead of gradual.
Gradual.
Yeah, you can see the error here. It should be in gradual
Increase.
increase in.
That means free.
So there is
Well, not really, because in a way we can call it too, because the person's put increasing for that problem we had, remember before, with pronunciation, linking together. So sometimes you often find people think, they don't really realize it's an increase in something, they say it's an increasing something. And it's a kind of a mistake, comes from pronunciation and not understanding. So, yeah, I'm kind of saying it's 2, but it kind of is. I...
imports to Europe failed gradually.
Very good. Europe. European is an adjective. Europe is the noun. So here's a word class problem, which I think a lot of you didn't spot, interestingly. And so the last one...
A sharp decrease.
A sharp.
There was a sharp.
Very good.
Article.
The missing article, and decrease, not, as it says here, decreasing. Again, this is quite a common error. So obviously, I mean, the thing is, we've got things like falling. You know, slight falling. So sometimes people write falling because they think they hear, oh, there's a slight falling. Oh, falling. And so be careful of that. Think about the connected speech as well. Well, that's sort of the end of this class. It's just to give you a few ideas of, things to pay attention with. Think about word class. Think about how you can express something in a different way. Remember, when we talk about trends, it just means up or down generally. So, be careful of saying, don't say, it went up and down, it fluctuated. But the trend was downward. And again, check what you write. Now, I'm sure you would all be very happy if you just made two mistakes in a sentence. No spelling mistakes, really. But again, sometimes it's useful to give your paper just to another person, because if they didn't write it, even if their English is not so good, they might see a spelling mistake because they don't spell it like that. So it's always useful to do that before you give it to your teacher. That's it for this afternoon. I hope you have a great weekend, and I'll see you around ELTC again. Okay? Okay.